I mean, do you want me to just go Czar?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Me? I have the power to make your name whatever I feel like. But we'll go with Czar.
Czarism.
And yeah. I'm totally ready whenever you are.
Okay. I guess I'll just do a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hell yeah. Good luck, because this game's impossible.
I know. Oh, I was watching Claude play DKC.
Good luck.
Thanks, Mungo. DKC 2 102, and his attitude for that inspired me to just not care, no matter what.
That's definitely a good thing to watch and realize that you shouldn't probably care.
Yeah.
And 102, oh.
Well, and this game is similar too in the fact that there's so little downtime. Like, I'm not used to speedrunning games where there's just constantly moving. I'm used to sitting in cutscenes. Well, I guess Mario 64 where you're moving a lot, but this one is different. Just because if you fuck up in Mario, it's not that big of a deal. But in this, if you die, it's like a minute.
At the wrong spot, totally just costs you forever.
Yeah. Alright, so the first stage is the only stage where we actually use Goemon. The rest of the run is dedicated to Sasuke and Yae. Which is a very good thing, because Goemon, his weapon attack with the pipe is extremely awkward, whereas Sasuke's and Yae's are very straightforward, vertical pipe slashes. I kind of want to leave the first stage with a gold weapon, just because in the next, I'm going to revisit this stage with Sasuke, and those green stock things take 3 hits with any weapon that's not gold. Well, I guess if you have blue, it would take 2 hits, but still. You want to one-shot him. Inside of towns, I'll also be resetting the controller stick. That's done by pressing L, R, and start. Oops. And then I put it in the opposite direction of where I want to go, and that gives me crazy speed increases through the town in just that one direction, so I can abuse that to get to a lot of areas much quicker than normal. It works inside of stages as well, but it doesn't have anywhere near as big of an effect. You would use it in stages on like the stuff that you can ride on, and also over water can actually help because you won't fall in as deeply. But a lot of this game is going through the towns doing side quests, and so every world I basically try to go through it with the day and night cycle accordingly. First world, I need to make sure that I finish the stage before the castle, before daytime, so I can get a pass that's in the well from an iguana man. Other worlds are more stricter, and some don't even matter. I would say the strictest one is actually World 5. Yeah, here I'm doing the speed increase. Allows me to glide through that area. Also, one thing that'll definitely be coming up throughout the run is hitboxes and how annoying and terribly programmed they are in this game. They pretty much made this game right after MSG came out. It came out in December of '98, and MSG came out in August of '97. So it's kind of similar to Majora's Mask with Ocarina of Time. But Goemon did it first. Goemon always does it first. In that they reuse different models from MNSG and do some new stuff in the game. Like I said, a lot of stuff is event time based, so you have to be in the town either at day or night for certain things to happen, which Majora's Mask also later used. It's pretty interesting how the two are kind of related in that way. But coming up, I'm going to be skipping the chain pipe. Normally I'd be using it to get through these blocks. It's just done by jumping in this wall a certain way. Oh crap, I just got it and then left because I didn't think I got it. There we go. Alright, so I think you can do that on any wall in the game, but you run into so very few walls that it never really comes into play, aside from with the chain pipe blocks. You just have to jump and hit the wall at a specific point when you're going down for your land, and you'll just go straight through. Sasuke is also nice because he has like this projectile that shoots out of his upgraded weapon that comes flying out. You can kind of use that to just spam constantly when approaching new sections. Like here, I use it on the stairs to make it pretty clean going up without having to worry about getting hit. Comes into play a lot. It's really important that I keep the gold weapon, especially in this stage, as I'm going to be fighting a mini-boss, and gold weapon will take me to the end of their attack cycles each and every time. And I can also skip past their like breathing fire phase by timing my attack at a specific point when its jaw is closing. I usually end up missing at least one cycle though. Yeah, I just missed one. Hopefully the others go better. I kind of have a timing method where like I do one fake one and then another when his jaw is closing, but my success rate with it is not the greatest. I've tried trying to figure out like many different strats, and this is the best that I could come up. Okay, I got one in. 1 for 3 is not too bad, at least I got one. The goal of this game is to collect passes at the end of each and every stage, and also from different townspeople to gain access to the castles to progress further through the game. I think I need 30 in total throughout the run. The route is pretty set in place, like it's already been created as the most optimized route. Because the other passes in the game that we don't get in any percent are actually very slow. Like these are definitely the fastest by a lot. Alright, this will be the last pass before I head to the castle. These guys are pretty interesting, what I'm going to be fighting. I think they're like called gnomes in the English version. If you attack them, you can pass just straight through them. And that's really helpful for progressing a little bit further on in the stage and then just throwing the gold kunai projectile at them in the back. While I slowly inch away. But even if I didn't have gold kunai here, I could actually just use bombs just as well. You'll also be noticing me pausing out of towns like that a lot. Once you exit a town, you gain the ability to just warp out with the pause. And after finishing a villager's text, when they're going to reward you with the pass, once the pass animation starts, you already get it added into your inventory, so you can just quit out at that point and save some time. And also, all cutscenes in this game are skippable except for the impact song for the first time. The impact song is actually not in the English version, it's only in the Japanese. Along with the opening song, but they did keep the voice acting in the opening and ending this time around for the US release. So this is Edo Castle, the first castle in the game. A lot of what I'm going to be doing, especially in this castle and some of the later ones, is damage boosting into different layers of the castle to skip a little bit further ahead. The first one's coming up here. It's pretty easy, but the jump that I have to do across the gap is actually the difficult part. And if I can have enough health, I need to get a health drop. And I didn't jump early enough. You usually want to go for a late jump because it's just that tight. Oh my gosh. Jump is definitely very annoying. I've lost many runs to it, but lately I've seemed to be having good chances with my jump. I think that'll make it, yeah. Okay. Alright, another thing you can do with the controller stick reset is get super crazy jumps off of the, like, I don't even know what you call it, the poles that are set up in various stages. Oh, I have to wait for this now. And that you can use that to exploit, like, greater heights than normally possible. as you probably guessed by seeing how high I went with that jump. A lot of this game is just memorizing what's coming up next, like any side-scroller. This one I felt like it took a particularly long time for me to remember everything, because in later stages especially, there can be giant hordes of enemies that are incredibly annoying to kill optimally. This is the last damage boost right here, and I missed it. I got hit too far into his attack. So there are 5 different worlds in this game. Out of all the worlds in the entire game, I would say that the first world is definitely the hardest, just because there's a lot packed in at the beginning that saves a lot of time, and you can easily mess it up and just lose a ton of time. So getting a good start for your run is pretty key, especially when you start getting better times. So the first boss is coming up. He's rather annoying to fight actually, in that he shoots bombs up into the air and you hit him back at him. You don't want to hit too many back in this first cycle. You want to do a little bit less than 1 full bottom health bar, because you can actually skip over another attack cycle that's supposed to occur. Right there was perfect. So if I hit 1 more, I would have actually missed out on these bombs here, and would have just gone straight into that attack animation. Have missed it through it all the way through. And his attacks also come out randomly, and you can't stack them too closely onto each other because they just won't count. Getting a 2 cycle is definitely the most optimal, but most often you'll probably get 3 or 4. And actually the thing that I was fighting was mind controlling Impact. That's why, if you saw briefly before I skipped that cutscene going into Edo Castle, he was attacking it. The plot of this game is that the wise old man invites Goemon and Abisumaru to come over and check out this machine that he's created. And it's able to bring back the dead, and they accidentally bring back one of the villains from Goemon 3. And so she starts wrecking havoc. She's actually a relative of Abisumaru, and her name is Abisumaru. So each world ends with one impact fight that you do, and the general idea is to just do missile attacks at the boss, so you can build up the meter for the laser. And then every once in a while the boss will also get close enough so you can do 100 punches. There is no chain pipe in this game like there is in MSV. So you kind of just have to rely on the boss behaving properly. And also sometimes the other impact, since there's two in this game, you and a second player would normally go to like volley your attacks back between each other. But with this being a one-player speedrun, I have to rely on the CPU. And once in a while they actually do behave properly and we'll smack it back after I do a 100 punch and kick him. But that's not always the case. So yeah, it's just building up the meter for the laser as often as you can. That was a pretty rough World 1. Once again, I think it's one of the hardest parts of the run is the first world. From here, things should smooth out a little bit more. On good pace, you definitely want like sub 20. So World 2 is kind of interesting in that you don't exactly have to go as fast as you possibly can through the first two stages, because we're going to have to revisit the second stage and wait for nightfall to talk to an iguana that's inside of a cave to get a pass. There are ways of speeding up certain cycles, like I'll be waiting for platforms to appear coming up here in this stage. I could do damage boosts to get through it faster, but then I would just end up having to wait the same amount. It definitely is the fastest pass that you can manage to get though. There's no other ones that are faster. That enemy I just killed, I could have damage boost off of him and made it to the platform as I was going away, but it's not necessary. Oh damn, Cool Kid rated? Nice. I'm just seeing like chat go crazy out of the corner of my eye. Thanks for the good luck. So yeah, I'll be revisiting the stage after I head to the town. I have to go meet up with the Eye and also buy an onigiri. The onigiri is for the first stage in World 3, so I have to be careful not to get killed by enemies during that time. If I do lose it though, I just have to go back and buy it again. We'll also be switching to Yai after this. We don't switch to her right there because we're going to be using Sasuke's bombs one more time when we visit the first stage in World 2. So yeah, this cave is on a very similar pathway of where we went through the first time in this stage. We just have to do a damage boost up onto the platform here, and still gotta wait a little bit for nightfall. Alright, he should be in there. Okay. Oh, whoops. There we go. Is Match gonna do any voice at all, or is he just commentating in the chat? Shit. I really hope I don't die. I should be fine. This stage is pretty safe. This part of it is, at least. Watch this Kappa drop some health. So the Kappas in this game are actually enemies too. They don't want cucumbers, they just want to kill us. Damn, I almost forgot about that skeleton fish. Oh my, I did it again. Okay, we're fine, we're fine. That was almost horrible. I thought for sure I didn't clip. It was like one of the really late ones. But I still somehow managed to stay inside of the block. That was really crazy. Alright, this is where Yai comes into play. We use her because she has the faster swimming animation. She can actually dash underwater, whereas Sasuke can just swim along normally. And she'll be our permanent character throughout the rest of the playthrough. And we can also clip through grounds and ceilings with her. Clipping in this game is a little weird though sometimes. Yeah, this is being very poor. There we go. They're kind of like Abisu slides in that regard, but not nearly as bad. Like that one I usually can have a setup for. And you definitely don't do as many clips as you do Abisu slides. Alright, I definitely want a health drop at the start of Raigu Castle. Because again, I'll be taking damage to save some time. The person doing GGA in the relay against me is someone I don't even know. They don't have a time posted anywhere. They have times in Legend of the Mystical Ninja, and I believe Goemon 3, and that's it. Like, there's nothing in their Nico profile about Great Adventure at all. So up ahead, there's these spike platforms. You can actually just jump towards the end of them and be fine. Their damage output is like more towards the center, but it's still kind of scary because you can easily overdo it and just fall in the pit. Well, his times in Goemon, like the other Goemon games, were good, so he could be a GGA god, and we don't even know about it. Like, it's really weird with Goemon's Great Adventure. If you look at any of the Japanese websites for leaderboard times, there's actually a number of times posted, but just no video links. Like, after their live stream is over, they don't care to save it, unless it's WR, I guess. Alright, World 2 is definitely going much smoother than World 1 was, and that's not surprising. There's less things you have to worry about in World 2. The main thing is making sure you keep the onigiri. World 3 definitely has some much more difficult stages coming up. Alright, this is one of the cases where we actually do use the controller stick reset outside of towns and cities. Like I mentioned earlier, it can help you get through the water really fast, and with the water rising here, I'm able to glide along this pathway incredibly quickly. Because normally there's supposed to be like this spike boulder chasing after Yai, and you're supposed to hit it back before it can hit you. But I don't even think it'll appear on screen because of how fast I'm able to go with this glitch activated. We get to see the cutscene for it, but not in any actual gameplay. So this is Taisamba 3. Let's come back once again. This is the main land fight, where we just break these ropes to hit him with a giant log, and I think like, whatever that is. Just some weird weight in the air that falls down. Very slapstick type humor here. These ropes are actually kind of annoying. Their hitbox is not as big as you think. It's more of a square than a rectangle. And while I'm jumping from raft to raft, I'm going to be landing in the water. And optimally, I want to be also shooting a bazooka shot. And if I shoot one low enough, it can actually hit the raft with the rope on it and do some damage, because each one takes 3 hits. So you want to cut down in as much time as possible slashing at him, while also avoiding his attacks. The only attack that really gets in the way though is that golden ring thing. The rest are pretty harmless. Oops. I'm trying to read Danzel's comment. I'll read it during the cutscene. Yeah, so the neutral stick reset only works on the controller stick. You can't do it with the D-pad. And in some cases, like in towns, I'll be using the D-pad to assist me in moving in more proper directions. Because it actually has no effect on the D-pad, you can still use it normally. So the Taisamba impact fight is actually the easiest impact fight boss in this game, because he has no invulnerability frames or seconds like the other bosses do. I can always just be constantly hitting him with bullets. Where the hell is he? Shit. There we go. Running the game in general, Danzo, it's just personal preference. I can't use the D-pad myself because when I'm holding right on it, my finger will like dip into the up or down directional pad. So I don't think I have fat thumbs either. It's just designed for like a child's thumb. So I don't think very many people use it. Alright, so coming up is why we need the Onigiri. We're going to be using it to activate a glitch in the water. So the water below me is actually like supposed to be hot lava. And normally when you touch it, you die instantly. But if you have something to revive you, the revival will actually cause the water to just act normal. So I can just swim through it. And this skips past a kind of auto-scrollery type section where I'm standing on a raft waiting for the game just to take me to the other side of the stage and different enemies like appear and attack me. This is it right here. You see all those bats. The thing with this though is that it's very easy to get hooked on to different objects that stop your movement. But I'm just going to be making my way towards the Tanuki. It is possible to untransform at a certain spot in that water that'll just instantly kill you. When I was doing practice earlier today, I was actually extremely worried about that stage because it was happening like every single time in practice. So I thought like a curse had fallen upon me. But it's been lifted with this run. Alright, coming up is a pretty fun room where you bazooka through the entire thing. Ah, I screwed it up though. It's okay. So I have to take a damage hit right there because those spikes will instantly kill Yai, no matter how much health she has. But if I get hit before I touch them, I can just pass over them freely. You can actually do a well-timed jump to get past that gap, but it's incredibly difficult to do, and I don't recommend it. Taking the hit is better anyway, just because you'll get health refills coming up in this revisit of the stage. Whoops. I kind of want to leave the stage with fully upgraded weapons. That's the main goal. Because the stage before the castle, we go into it at night, and there's a lot of enemies that actually take 2 hits, so having an upgraded weapon is very helpful and nice. I usually get unlucky though, and I'll just end up having to go in with a regular old katana. Damn. This stage is pretty short. We're gonna cut through a large part of it just by going underwater. But it's probably also the most common stage for me to die in. Just because dashing through these enemies, I seem to get unlucky and get the 1 frame where she can take damage between dashes. We're good. The game can actually freeze in this world too, so getting that strat is pretty hilarious. I'm gonna grab the exit here right off the bat so I can pause out after I'm done with my side quest. It just involves trading with the iguana men. Here I want to avoid holding B during the text because it can spawn a fake pass that'll appear for some reason. It'll show a pass coming out of that iguana man, but I won't actually collect anything and still have to do the side quests. So it wastes a little bit of time with having me have to watch that animation. And this is regular running here. I don't use the reset glitch because you have to do so many different angles and turns. Oops. As you can see, the reset glitch makes you go super fast in comparison. For some reason, it was thought that the reset glitch only worked in Japanese. I'm not sure why that is. I think it's just because of videos someone made that used to run this game. But it's been proven false, and that all glitches carry over into the US version so far. So coming up at the end of this stage, it is possible that the game can just freeze randomly. If it does freeze, I do have a safety save, so we're good on that end. Alright, got the upgraded weapon. It's kind of weird though, is that MSG has a similar freeze that can happen around this time in the run. Oh my god, the stage is just brutal at night. Alright, so the freeze is coming up. It's when the Tanuki spawns. When it's supposed to spawn, the game can just crash. We did not get it. Thank God. Shaft actually did get it in his RT in Japan run live and had to redo the entire game up to this point. I think that happened last year. Alright, the third castle, Majin Castle. This castle is just a complete pain in the ass. I absolutely hate this castle just because so much of it is health reliant, and with basically only having 2 pieces of health at your disposal, so much of the stage relies on you just taking damage to save some time. Lots of health abuse, and then refilling health. I think at like 3 different points throughout this run through of the castle you have to get down to just 1 health. One of those areas is after this screen here, so it's important that I don't get hit leading up to it, because there's not as many enemies to kill as there are here for a quick refill. Oh, I got hit once. It's okay. And those spikes back there are different than the other ones that kill you instantly. It's kind of weird that they have 2 different sets of spikes. Those ones you just take a regular old hit. Alright, this is the Guillotine Tower. Incredibly annoying section of the stage. I'm just gonna work on focusing on it. I do need to get a health refill before the end of it though. Oh my god, that was almost... Holy shit, okay. when you get Cat Doll and health refills is kind of preset in this game, like it is in some of the other Goemon games. This one though, they can glitch out really easily. They didn't exactly program them properly, so there are cases where you can actually just skip over when you're supposed to get your health and cat refill. I think it's supposed to be every 8th and 10th enemy. Like the 8th enemy gives you the cat, the 10th gives you the health refill. Oh my god, why is the DVD player doing that? Alright, whenever it decides to write this to the disc, I have to pause. No! I died too, right at the end. God damn it. Well, at least now you know the run's not fake. Alright. This ogre boss, he's interesting in that basically when you knock him down, you want to try to get an extra hit while he's getting up. You attack like his ghost spirit before it goes back to possess him. Right here, each time that happens, I can do an extra hit of damage in, and that's kind of important because it can skip over one of his attack cycles that way. And I can use it to skip over this cycle where he smacks a pillar to make Rumble fall down from the ceiling. And if I manage that, it makes the boss fight much quicker. And I've definitely gotten it, so we're good. If I had not gotten those hits in, he would only do one attack here, and then just go jump into the background there, and do his ceiling attack. Alright, so part of what we're trying to do is just prevent Bisumari from resurrecting this guy that basically looks like Dio, a mixture of Dio and a Dragon Ball Z villain, from being resurrected. It's supposed to be some satanic guy, and just trying to bring him back with Wise Old Man Machine. So we're just following her throughout Japan, trying to stop her. We eventually do not succeed though, and he is, of course, resurrected, and we have to fight him. Oh crap, I always do that. I accidentally always do 2 punches there, and that can kick him out of range for your 100 punch. You want to go with the 1 punch to avoid that, obviously. I could have lasered, but he's already almost dead. It's not really worth it. There is a chance that I can actually switch between the two impacts on the last frame of the fight and still be attacking him during his death animation. It's pretty hilarious. I don't think I've ever actually seen anyone get it RTA though. It's kind of a task thing. So this stage is another rare occurrence of using the controller stick reset, just because there's a lot of water coming up in the later half of the stage. That's kind of annoying to get through quickly. This definitely speeds it up, but I have to be careful here because I am just automatically moving to the right, that I pace those jumps correctly, which I did. And now it's pretty smooth sailing. Yeah, despite that water being very shallow in looks, it can actually slow down the eye quite a bit. I'm also slowly building towards 500 Rio. In the final level, or final world of this game, I'm gonna buy a pass from the town spirit, and I just need 500 Rio. Luckily in this game there's relatively no farming required because every enemy you kill basically gives you a Rio piece. I do have to kind of be aware of it though, because there are times where I've come up short. Damn it, I'm getting hit through the stage. That's not good. I like to kind of try and keep my upgraded health if I can. Oh yeah, the side quests, I think it's in this town too. You have to pay like 3,000 Rio to this guy that is in love with Goemon. I think he's supposed to be a drag queen, but watch DCAC argue that he's something different. It's actually a woman. You'll let me know. Well, unfortunately, he's not going to come up at any point in the run. You won't get to see him. Well, actually, it's pretty weird. The final boss can actually summon, like, his spirit to attack you. But that's pretty rare. I think that only happens just completely randomly. Yeah, those guys are called the Butthole Men. They shit on you. They must have got hit by that PS2 Goemon boss that has a giant dildo sword with spikes on it. The anal destroyer, or whatever you guys were saying. Alright, this town has the biggest case of luck RNG in the entire speedrun. You play hide and seek with these kids, and their positions are kind of random. There's different patterns. There are ways of telling which pattern you got, but it can sometimes be pretty difficult, so you just want to check all locations no matter what. Yeah, I think there's 6 kids you have to find here, and they're spread out all throughout the town. If they all stay in this one area, hold on, like paying way too much attention to how I'm moving. Okay, if they're all in this area here, that means you got good RNG. Some of them can be spread out to like the bear, what would you call it? It's basically the very end of the town. And that's bad RNG. Yeah, this side quest is a lot of fun. Alright, I probably got one where they're super far out. Wait. Where the hell are they? What? I'm not familiar with this pattern, dude. This is weird. This is really bad. So the last 2 must be over here. Yeah, I talked to him by accident. Alright, so the last one's over here. Definitely the worst case of RNG. There's one more in World 5 with the mailman, but he's not as bad, I think, as those kids are. World 5 also has the biggest in-game time crunch. Wow, I'm surprised that hit me. No! Oh my god, that was really scary. That's not what I intended on doing. Thought I was gonna fall in the pit. Alright, Castle 4 is a pretty relaxing castle in comparison to all the rest. Very straightforward. The only thing you generally have to worry about is there's these rising platforms that go up and down, and obviously their pattern is going to be a little bit random. So sometimes it'll look like you can clear a jump, but you won't actually make it. So it's best to just wait it out in those situations and not take the risk of dying. And there is also a damage boost towards the end that can be a little bit tricky. I have to get hit in the middle of the flame in order for it to work properly. did I wait for that one? Alright, we're good. Now for the next set of raising platforms. These ones are generally like pretty well behaved. You'll usually get a good pattern where you don't have to wait at all. I had to wait right there. I might have been able to make that, but I didn't want to risk it. Alright, so this is the spiral tower where the damage boost is coming up. Sometimes the damage boost isn't even necessary. Let's see what happens. It should be this platform right here. Yeah, I got hit too early, so if I went for that jump I would have definitely missed. You have to get hit more towards the center of the flame in order for it to work correctly. It took me a while to realize that, because I would just fucking go for it every single time and mostly would die. Alright, so you might recognize this guy from Legend of the Mystical Ninja. He's back in this game as well. I don't know if Bisamaru actually resurrected him or not. It's called Kabuki64. You want to always make sure he gets into his attack phases, which are doing that jump in the air and the sneaky breath. You can manipulate him to always go into attack phases during that part where he's putting his shield away after jumping into the battle. So right there, that'll skip over him going into the background and either directing that black blob thing from attacking me or dropping missiles down. Keep missing him though. Okay, he's dead. He can be a little bit of an annoying boss, and that you can attack him too early during that jump back towards you, and that'll actually just automatically send him into attack mode, so he'll fly into the background, and you'll waste time waiting for him to finish his attack cycle. So that was a pretty solid fight. I've actually also had the game freeze on this boss. Doing a laser attack, the game just randomly froze. I don't know if it was an actual common crash to happen, because I haven't had it happen since, or if it was just a freak occurrence. There we go. I was waiting for this impact to hit him. This guy has a really huge hitbox, so you can usually always hit him with your laser when he stands right back up. And you can always hit him with your 100 punches, even if it looks like he's a good distance away. He'll usually make it in. And right there I switched between the two impacts because he was doing an attack cycle where basically he's invincible. For him to end that immediately is just by switching characters. Some of the attacks are designed that way, where you do have to switch, because they'll just attack you until you're dead. Alright, you should be dead after this. So there's this weird thing at the start of World 5, the very first level, for whatever reason, and it only works on that stage. If I hold Z during the loading, like the dark frame, it'll take me midway into the stage for some reason as my starting spawn point. So I can use that just to cut a couple of seconds that I would normally be walking to that point. I don't think anyone knows why this happens. Yeah, I just start right there. I'll be going through this stage twice as well. The two paths are very different. And this is the world where the time crunch is definitely the most important. It's very strict because of how many stages I'm doing before I get to a town. I definitely want to avoid dying here, especially because dying here once can really fuck up in-game time and just make it so your route is bad and impossible to do. Alright, we did good by ending with full everything. I automatically get hit at the start here no matter what. There is a way where you can get an attack in, but that's a little bit slow. So you have to wait for it to finish, obviously. And as long as you have full health going in, you're fine. You don't have to worry about anything because you'll get a refill soon enough. So I just take the hit. Optimally, you want to end the stage with the gold weapon, because the following stage, the green stock enemies return in a good horde amount through the very start. So being able to kill them in just one good old slash is pretty helpful here. It also allows me to make this platform cycle that's coming up. That gives me the possibility to make it at least. I might have screwed it up by messing up those jumps. Yeah, I just barely missed it. I have plenty of Rio for the guy in the town. Also, interestingly, Rio just drops from the sky right there for some reason. Not exactly sure why. I think it might be because they have Rio lined up on that roof, and they just put an extra one there on accident, so it just falls down because there's nowhere for it to sit down on. We're definitely good. Good start to World 5. This is definitely a town too where you want to make sure you grab the exit at the start, because we're going pretty deep into the town, and the run back from where we're going will cost you a lot of time. Casually, this is definitely my favorite town. Lots of nice atmosphere and really beautiful sounding music. So first he actually charges us 1,500 for it. That's more than we can normally carry in the game. So just select no on that option and he'll make it 500. He'll subtract one 1,000 Rio. Alright, this is the last stage before the castle. Oops. In it, I'm going to be grabbing a cat doll. One of the golden ones. The funny thing with that platform that it sits on, though, is that it's very easy to glitch through the side of it. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Alright, here comes the golden cat doll. I just seem to have bad luck with glitching through this platform. Okay, we didn't do anything. Or nothing bad happened, I should say. We're in the clear. Those little guys, you might have seen them come up a lot in some of the other stages. Clearly they do no damage. Their intent is to actually make it difficult for you to jump. Alright, so here's the final pass. This is the mailman minigame. The mailman can spawn in like, I think 4 different spots. There's one really good one at the start here. We'll see if we get it. He should be right over here, and he's not. So second best is him being on this bridge. Alright, he's not there either. So then he can be in like 2 different spots in this field. Alright, hopefully he's in this section right here. There he is. I think what you're doing with him is delivering his lunch. I think he left it at home. So this is the final castle in the game. Biggest pain in the ass in the entire run. It takes all the elements of the first 4 castles and just puts it into one. The Edo section, I think, is the hardest. And you'll see why. After we get past the first screen, at least. This right here is really standard. Easy stuff. Oh my gosh, okay. I think I insulted the game a little bit by saying that was easy. This part is horrible. These platforms are okay, they space them correctly where you can't actually fall between them. But coming up is another new set of platforms just like that. And they didn't do such a good job with placing them. You can't run across them as easily as you can those ones. And if you jump at the wrong moments to attack enemies, you'll just fall right through. So let's see what happens. Alright, I kind of pussied out at the end there. I did not want to fall through at the very end. But you get the idea. You can see that she's kind of bobbing up and down. Raigu's section though, this is the break. Can you relax here a little bit? Alright, that right there is the hardest spot. Timing your jumps on those spike platforms can be a real bitch if you're not careful. If you hug the wall just a little bit, you'll suffer extra damage and not be able to get all the way through. The nice thing about this castle is at least they give you health refills through every single section. This area here of Majin Castle is probably the second hardest. Now, the platforming on these pots are not exactly that bad, but we're going to be revisiting the guillotine portion of the stage again on the second screen. And that area is particularly annoying, and just with how they set it up. Okay. So they have hands that can grab you, stop you from jumping. They also have the little huggers to stifle your jumps. And they have this weird enemy spawn right there that can just deal damage to you instantly. I think we're good though. Just gonna wait on that. Oops. Okay, that was really good actually. The nice thing about that part is that the hands are actually timed, so they're not exactly random. They start moving as soon as they come on screen, just the platforms are random. Oh, let's get back here. Alright, we're good. I have to enter and re-enter here to make sure I have the gold katana for the final boss. First, the last impact boss, and it's death. This boss is incredibly annoying. Not a fan of him. He's the one boss that it's just not guaranteed that you can laser him after a kick to the ground. So usually I'll wait for him to do an attack where he's standing still. There is also danger zone strats that you can do where you intentionally get into low health with impact. In this game, if impact is below 100 health, his attack output doubles. So this comes in really big handy on this boss, where his health is 6,666 health points. But I have very poor success rate doing that strat, so I just play it safe. This might hurt me a bit. Another bad thing that can happen on this boss is that you'll run out of Rio to fire, so you're just sitting around waiting for him to float close enough towards you to do an attack. This boss, you can't really count on the CPU to volley them back and forth. It rarely ever happens. Alright, is he gonna summon Goemon-A-thon? Yeah. Just gonna wait for her to get close. So if you do the low health strats, you can avoid this section right here. You have to fight back the spirit of Goemon-A-thon. The reason why I don't laser that is because it won't actually deal any damage towards him. It'll just smack the robot back at him, and then I have to wait anyway. That was a good fight though. Definitely satisfied with that one. So this is why we need the gold katana. Just for dealing damage output on this phase of this guy's boss battle. Almost got hit right there. Damn it. It really only matters on this guy because his second phase, the amount of damage that you can do during each attack cycle is exactly the same. This is a really weird fight. It's like floating around everywhere. Yeah, I think I broke him. So Dio becomes Ganon, and then we have to fight his beast form here. Second good old Ocarina of Time. This boss, you just want to stay in the middle of the swamp so that he'll attack you immediately. That is what sets off his attack cycles. When you go inside and hit the uvula. How much time I'm guaranteed here is the same regardless of what weapon I have. But the thing is that the uvula, like, invincibility frames are different. You'll always be able to do the same amount of output of damage per cycle just because they programmed it in some weird way where it evens out to always being the same. Like with gold katana, my hits would be spaced out a little bit more differently than this, and even with no upgraded weapon at all, I'll just be able to hit him repeatedly over and over again. Really weird how they decided to do that, but that's why you can always end up with the same damage taken out on him. Alright, this should be the last cycle. Alright, get ready on time, Josh. For this game, it's a white frame, just like MNSG. Alright, time.